I don't think that this is the season that Mark figures it out.
You need to take a
Um,
vacation after the end of, I think this is
yeah,
just like, oh,
yeah. The goal is that when a comic book fan that's read the entire series is watching the show,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my God, are they going to do that moment?" And then while the moment is happening, we want them to be thinking, "Oh, this is somehow bigger and better than I could have expected it to be."
What are you hiding in here?
The White Room is for my protection.
Protection from what?
From you, Mark.
Mark's emotional shift across the seasons has been quite big. And after the events of season 2, it looks like the shift from season 2 to 3 will be even bigger than the shift from 1 to 2. What could you say about Mark's journey and where he'll go this season in general?
Well, I mean, coming off of the accidental murder of Angstrom Levy, Mark is very emotional about his abilities and lines he could cross seemingly by accident, and that's kind of put him in a very rigid space, where he is very much against killing and recognizes what he did was wrong, and that's putting him at odds with Cecil in a big way, simply because Cecil has a completely different view of things, definitely sees the potential in all superpowered beings, no matter what their motives were, and so that's something that Mark at this point really can't agree with. But you can see an emotional whiplash in Mark as we go from season to season because he's so young and because he has so much responsibility and the weight of the weight of the world on his shoulders. He is very much kind of grasping at straws as he goes, trying to learn, like, who is he? What does he stand for? What's the best way to utilize these powers for the good of mankind? And we're not afraid to allow Mark to make mistakes and be wrong at times, or feel very strongly about himself being right, and how that leads to some pretty intense conflicts.
we sort of talked about like season 1 was Mark wanting to be his father.
Yeah.
Season 2 was him being terrified of becoming his father. I think season 3 is him trying to discover who he needs to be. Like, what is the cost of his powers? Like, what decisions does he have to make? What kind of hero does he want to be? Obviously, he doesn't want to be his dad. So who is that then? And we put him into some pretty complicated and difficult situations where he's going to have to make even more difficult decisions based off of that. So, and that's really exciting, dramatic stuff. So, we love doing that.
Yeah, really, it really is exciting, especially honing on both your answers here. Obviously, it's taken Mark, especially knowing where he goes in the comics as well. He's going to a lot of emotional ranges, and I think it's a testament to the strength of the writing and to Steven's performance as well for conveying that so well across what we've seen so far. And speaking of Nolan, actually, this is where I kind of want to go next a little bit, because following Nolan's string of internal conflicts that we've seen from the end of season 1 to 2, again, what sort of redemption arc could we sort of expect for Nolan here? Will he be trying to right his wrongs and join the side of his son, or sons plural, or will season 3 end with him still being at war with himself in a sense?
Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to be dealing with a great amount of conflict this season. I don't think that this is the season that Mark figures it out. This is not the season where he reaches the end of it and is like, okay, here I am. Unfortunately, I think that, like season 1 and season 2 kind of built from one to the other, and the conflict got more and more intense. That kind of continues with season 3.
Yeah, I think you can safely say we're not done with Nolan yet. There's lots more to explore with him, many more places he has to go. Yeah.
Going on to new characters as well, we will be welcoming a host of incredible new cast members as well. I'm excited about Aaron Paul, but the big rumor that we were seeing about Jonathan Banks, as far as we've seen, his role was kind of undisclosed, but the rumor was that he would be playing Conquest, also one of my favorite villains from the comics as well. Is there any truth to this? And either way, what will his role mean for the show and its stakes?
I think that while we can't comment on rumors, Jonathan Banks's role in the series is someone that I think you could use the word disruptive.
Okay.
He specifically, with a few characters, adds some conflict to them in some interesting ways. But you say this name Conquest, I can't guarantee that character even shows up in this season.
See, okay, good, fair enough. Keeping it vague. I'm still happy with that anyway because I love Jonathan Banks as well. As a big fan who discovered him in Breaking Bad and anything else. So no matter what he's playing, I'm excited to see it.
He's the best.
Oh, he is the best. Like,
Yeah.
absolute champion. So I kind of also want to go into sort of like the adaptation of the story equivalent itself a little bit. How faithfully would you say you've been able to adapt the equivalent story portion of the comic book for season 3? And for what sort of reassurances would you be able to make to fans who love that sort of detail in that original source material? As in, like, will it still be there will the spirit still be there in the big developments ahead?
Yeah, I think that with this show, the way I envision it is kind of a process of if it's not broken, don't fix it. So when we sit down with the source material, if we feel like everything is working, we just try to make sure that we uphold, what existed in the comics, trying to put a fresh coat of paint on it, trying to expand things where we can expand them, kind of truncate things where we feel like that's necessary. But if there's big moments and events that absolutely landed in the comics that I know the fan base is excited to see, you're going to get those moments. Any attempt to alter those moments will be only to enhance. Maybe we'll do a little bit of extra something to build up a moment so that when it finally lands, it'll hit you in a little different way. Maybe it'll be a little bit more emotional. Maybe it'll be a little bit more intense. But it's really, a process of trying to enhance what was in the comics, not to change it for the sake of, giving you something different. That's something I learned from working on The Walking Dead. I was very much coming at things from a place of, they've read this before. Let's give them something different. And I was pushing to change things as often as possible on that show. Here, I'm like, you know what? Let's make sure we deliver that moment in a way that the fan base that's experienced the comics, that loves the comics, will love all over again.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. As someone that I still love both The Walking Dead and Invincible altogether, but hearing that reassurance as well, even for me as a fan, lovely stuff to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, the goal is that when a comic book fan that's read the entire series is watching the show, they're like, oh my God, are they going to do that moment? And then while the moment is happening, we want them to be thinking, oh, this is somehow bigger and better than I could have expected it to be.
Because season 2 did a great job of leaving us in a bit of a tender place with what our various heroes have gone through, whilst making us want to know more. By comparison, how would you say season 3 is going to make us feel by the end, and how will it set us up for future seasons?
You need to take a vacation after the end of, I think this is just like,
Yeah, I think that the last 3 episodes are kind of a trilogy of emotional exhaustion. That's the goal, at least. It's just it's a 1, 2, 3 punch of like some really intense story beats that hopefully deliver something that you're not really expecting from the show in a different way in all 3 episodes. I don't know. I feel like the season ends strong. I think anyone promoting their show is going to say that, but I think that when it's all said and done and people have watched these episodes, we really put Mark through his paces, the entire cast through their paces. When we come back for season 4, we're going to be coming back to a very different world filled with very different characters.
That is a great quote. I'm really excited for that. Oh my God. I think because I think that is a really good benefit of being so involved with the adaptation of your original source material as well, because the his story, this story and these characters are, your baby, essentially, and being able to, adapt it so faithfully. It's been really exciting to see where each of these goes. I've been told I'm able to get one more in, so I want to hone in on Oliver for a second here.
Great.
Because Oliver himself, he has a very different start with his Viltrumite heritage compared to Mark. Basically, getting his powers so early, and what happened to his mother's people as a precedent to that as well. Now he's sort of joining the crime-fighting initiative with Mark. How will his superhero arc in season 3 differ to his brothers in season 1?
I think that Oliver's a character that's growing up and aging on fast forward.
Yeah.
And I think that because of that, there's some steps that can be skipped, some lessons that can be missed. And so I think that, especially in this season, we're going to get to see, some startling revelations that happen around Oliver that kind of reveal some oddities in his personality that you might not expect, that kind of hint at the fact that he could be a source of serious conflict moving forward.
Yeah, and why would anyone expect him to have the same outlook as Mark? I mean, he's not human. He's half Thraxan, half Viltrumite. He grew up much more quickly, partially on Thraxa, partially on Earth. Nolan was not really a part of his later life. So he's going to have a very different outlook on everything from, the value of life to what a superhero should be to who his people are, than Mark. So it's going to be an interesting, I think, season, seeing him mature and seeing how Mark acts as an older brother.